Get up in here. Alright? Let me check my vital signs. You know how we do. Make sure we're alive with this John. Check 212. What's poppin'? Yep. Let me make sure my privacies are good on all my social media. For some reason, they default to private. I don't like that. But we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it working. We're gonna get it working. Share the live. Until then, hey, we back at it. Oh, I miss football so much. I don't know about y'all, but I miss football so much. All right, we'll get on that one. Let's see what we got for this one. Just checking. I'm just checking. I'm just making sure we good on my channels. That's all. Alright, we good on that too. Okay, we're active. And then last but not least, the tube. Let me check the YouTube. Alright, we good on that. If you're in here, let me get one of these. What's up? That's your boy Geechee Smith. You know we back at season 2. Yeah, I'm excited. But start this countdown, we're gonna get into it. What's poppin'? It's your boy Geechee Smith. Back, season 2. Picks, fantasy starts. You know how it is. Last year, we were at a smooth 69% on our picks. We made people lots and lots of money. Actually, hold on. Give me a second. I'm hardwiring it real quick. Give me a second. Make sure. You know what I'm saying? No buffering. No buffering, guys. Second. Hardwire in. Alright, that's better. On my end, anyway. But yeah. Last year we were about 69%. I have to look at those numbers again. But we made people thousands upon thousands of dollars. We had real testimonies, real life people, real life situations. People were making money off these bets. People were making money off these picks. How they advise y'all get on this train, get on this gravy train, come get this money. I don't do a lot of betting. However, you know, I do this for y'all. To be honest with you, I do all the research. I'm not just one of these people that's going on here and just like, in my heart, I think we're gonna do this in my heart. Nah, it ain't got nothing to do with none of that, right? I do research every week. Y'all make the money, and then y'all just give me a shout out. Tell me, hey, thanks for getting me these picks. That's it. It's a, mutual relationship. That's all. Just give me credit where credit's due. That's all. That's all I ask for. Give me credit where credit's due. But it's not a lot to shout outs to Trent Williams getting his bread. He just wanted his money guaranteed. His the next 2 years on his contract were not guaranteed. He had 0 guarantees on his last 2 years on his contract. He just wanted the guaranteed money. I think if the 49ers would have won a Super Bowl last year, a lot of these people wouldn't have been so hard on getting that little bit of change that they got, because it is hard to get to a Super Bowl. I don't think people understand how hard it is to get to a Super Bowl. However, you know, pay me now. So it's at that point. If I can't get a ring, I need to get my money. And that's where Ayuk and Williams were. And that front office is leaking a lot of things. You know what I mean? A lot of things are being spread, a lot of rumors, a lot of things. People DMing me stuff. I don't know if they're legit people. I'm not going to say anything about anything until things happen. Because, it's a source. I don't know. People could be spreading things just to make sure you try to, just to see if you're a mole or not. So I'm not saying anything. But people that's been saying stuff in my DMs that may or may not be attached to the 49ers organization. So I'm just holding off and just listening. But yeah, man. Other than that, let's get into it. Who's excited for football? Who's excited for football? Oh my Lord, I'm excited for football. But this is not why you're here. You're not here to hear me rant. Y'all are here because y'all want to know who to start on y'all fantasy this week. Y'all want to know who to start for y'all fantasy this week. So I'm gonna start with the fantasy starts. I'm gonna do 3 and 3 just for the first week, because more or less it's just an educated guess based off of the things that were happening last year and things that happened in the off season, tendencies, things of that nature. So I went with some safe bets for what I think are safe bets for the first week. And then after that, we're going to get into these picks. So first fantasy start, who I believe is going to do his thing. We're going to go with CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud, if you got a quarterback. Hey, CJ Stroud, what do you have? You might not have CJ Stroud. I have CJ Stroud in one of my leagues as one of my 2 quarterbacks. I'm not going to give him I should actually give away. Should I give away my tricks on how I draft? My draft is chaotic, and it also depends on where I pick. So if I pick 1 to 3, and it's one of those snake drafts where, my next one might not be for what was it, like 9 picks, but then you get back-to-back picks. It depends on that. If you get like pick 5, it's hard to really get back-to-back picks when you're on pick 5. So your picks are, I think 5. Your picks are like always like 4 or 5 picks apart. Same thing with ones like 9, 8 or 7, 9. It depends on the size of your league, right? And if they do that snake draft thing. So if I don't have back-to-back picks, I do a certain way. If I do have back-to-back picks, I do it a different way. So it's not. It just depends on where I pick at, the type of picks, and the type of draft that it is, on the way I pick. So, for instance, one of my leagues, I drafted a quarterback first because I had a later pick. And the reason I did that was, how many points do quarterbacks get for a year? How many points do wide receivers get for a year? How many points do running backs get for a year? So that's the things that I think about. Because here's the thing. There's 32 teams. You're going to get, for the most part, you can get some sleepers. There's going to be some injuries. Outside of like the top 5 running backs and wide receivers, the rest are just like plug and plays and about matchups. Another thing you always got to think about is your bye weeks. You also have to think about, I'm going to close this window because PTSD is a beast. I don't like when things go past my window. So I don't want y'all to see me real time. I used to be outside, sorry. So you got to think about bye weeks. You have to think about matchups. You have to think about injuries. You have to think about drafts. You have to think about offensive coordinators. You have to think about teams that they're playing this year. You have to think about the divisions that they play. These are the things that go through my mind. There's a reason I've been in about 4 or 5 championships in the last few years, right? I've won about 2 out of the last 5 years, but I've been in about 4 or 5 championships. Now, I play 3 leagues every year. This will be the first year I played more Yahoo than ESPN, but those are the 2 I use, Yahoo, ESPN, and I did the Underdog, John. Shout out to Naylor, Jay Naylor on YouTube. YouTube, on Twitter/X down here in the Tampa area also. But yeah, so I got one of those. It's a little bit different. It's my first time doing something like that, so we'll see how it is. I still don't even quite understand it a little bit, to be honest with you. But I think it automatically does it. So I think it's so you only draft the position players: quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end, flex, and I think automatically it takes the top. The people with the top points automatically. I think it just does that automatically. You don't have to pick a bench or set your lineup or anything like that. I think it automatically just takes the top graded ones for that year. I didn't do well on the projection because it says my projections are low. However, I got some sleepers on that because I pay attention to the preseason. A lot of people don't pay attention to the preseason. And people are getting injured. People are getting older. Things like that. I have a lot of sleepers on mine, like people like Jordan Mason from the 49ers. Oh, that's a homer pick. Is it really? Either Christian McCaffrey was being held out on some Bill Belichick type-ish, or he really has been dealing with that calf situation since the end of last year. If anybody ever had a calf issue, it doesn't really ever go away 100% all the time. Like you might 2, 4, 5, 6 months or a year down the road had that calf injury just because you're just always on your calf muscle, right? It takes a while. And when you're in the NFL and you're a running back, you have to run, you have to train and things like that. You're constantly using that calf muscle. It's hard not to. And still being able to keep that same lateral agility and things of that nature. So I got Jordan Mason. And I just seen on the depth chart, he might be returning kicks. So, things like that. So CJ Stroud, I went on that tangent to say I got CJ Stroud as one of my quarterbacks. I got 2 good quarterbacks. I stayed with 2 good quarterbacks. Also, the reason I stayed with 2 good quarterbacks is because it's bait, draft bait. I might see somebody I like, and somebody be like, "Yo, man, my quarterback's hurt. You got a quarterback?" Yeah, I got this CJ Stroud for you. Let me get that Christian McCaffrey off you, blood. Right? It might not be something specifically like that, but you get the gist. You get what I'm talking about. All right, so I like CJ Stroud. Next up, Evan Ingram. I know. Be easy, all right? So a lot of y'all see me talk trash about the Trevor, I call him, the Trevor Lawrence. I really don't think Trevor Lawrence is that good. That's just my personal opinion. You do with that what you will. I really don't think he's that good. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's garbage. I just don't think he's as good as the hype is. However, I love Doug Peterson and I love Evan Ingram. Doug Peterson utilizes that tight end pause very well in the position, and I like what I was seeing in the preseason. That's a good bailout for Trevor. So I see Doug, the quarterback, not whisperer, but he now utilize a quarterback's strengths. Doug Peterson is a very underrated coach, and mostly because he was a quarterback. So that, not saying just because you're a quarterback you're gonna be a good coach, but he is a good coach and he was an okay quarterback. So I liked what I've seen in the preseason from the Trevor as far as utilizing that tight end, especially in the red zone when the field gets smaller. So I like that pick. And specifically against the Giants. The Dolphins, who are lacking in that aspect. As far as what are you doing? As far as missing that linebacker piece in the middle where you can have that happen. So I like Evan Ingram. I like C.J. Stroud against the Colts. He did very well against the Colts. What was that? Was first or second start? We played against the Colts, did very well. He didn't play the second game against the Colts. They had backups play, but the backups did well. And it's C.J. Stroud and with more weapons. So I like C.J. Stroud coming out and balling. I like his gusto. I like what he's doing. Last but not least, as far as fantasy start, I like Yamir. My man Gibbs. I was about to say Boggs because I went to school with Jameer Boggs. And ironically, he was a running back. He's probably just as good as Gibbs, to be honest with you. Shout out to my man Jameer. Anybody who went to Coatesville and graduated 2000, they know about Mir. But anyway, he's healthy, and they're playing against the Rams. The Rams are not that good defensively, and they lost Aaron Donald, the greatest defensive player in the league over the last 10 years, arguably. Aaron Donald was the Trent Williams of defenses for the last 10 years, right? So I like what Gibbs is doing and how he really turned it on last year. It's another year in, more comfortable in the system. So that's my top three I'm rocking with for that. And then fantasy sits. Who we rocking with the fantasy sits? First and foremost, we're going with Jerome Ford. It's the Browns. I know he was doing well last year, but Nick Chubb was, the running back for the first couple games, and Nick Chubb got hurt. Jerome Ford really pulled it on. But I'm sorry, I got to go back to the game who they play. That was also the reason. Oh, the Cowboys. They're also playing the Cowboys. Cowboys have a pretty solid defense. The Cowboys, I hate seeing Cowboys in solid defense. I'm a hater. I've been a fan of the 49ers since the 80s, so I always have a disdain towards the Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. Sorry, not sorry. I don't even dislike the Seahawks as much as I dislike the Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. So it's just hard for me to give them props. That's just me. But so that's another reason why I say sit him. I think he's going to be really good this year because he's going to be able to hide Deshaun Watson, and they have that type of system. But yeah, I would sit him this week. If you can't sit him this week, then you didn't draft correctly. You have a bum draft if that's your main running back is Jerome Ford. I'm lying, but I would sit him this week against the Cowboys for that reason, though. And then last but not least, secondly, I'm tripping. Garrett Wilson. He's going to be solid this year. Aaron Rodgers is back. All that hype. He got his number one receiver. Monday Night Lights. Hopefully Aaron Rodgers makes it past the third play this year. But they're going up against the 49ers. Now, that's not a homer pick. We're talking about the 49ers that got some dogs on that defensive back. This might be the first team where you should be more worried about the defensive backs than the defensive line. But the defensive line is going to be crazy too because we upgraded that. All right, I'm going to get into that. But Garrett Wilson is going up against the 49ers. And Aaron Rodgers just does not do well against the 49ers. And Kyle Shanahan is going to little bro Robert Saleh and crew. I would be leery on Garrett Wilson. I wouldn't rely on him as wide receiver one. Just put it that way. He's going to get his because he's Garrett Wilson, maybe like 5 points, but I wouldn't expect too much more from him on that. And lastly, y'all might disagree with this one. This is my sit for this week. Travis Kelce. Reason being, they're playing the Ravens Thursday night to open the season. John Harbaugh does not get a lot of credit for being one of the better coaches in the league. John Harbaugh consistently puts together a winning team. John Harbaugh is a solid coach that needs to be um, needs more credit. To be honest with you, and I think he's going to take away Patrick Mahomes. I think that's one of the things he's going to do is take away Patrick Mahomes. Not Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes with the weapons. You got Xavier Worthy, you got Pacheco, um, you got Brown, and you got Smith Schuster back. So I think what people are going to do is a copycat league. Study what the 49ers did in the first half and lock up Kelce and make them try to beat you elsewhere. So I think that's going to be good for the first game, and John Harbaugh will be good at adjusting for that. Um, Now, granted, Travis Kelce is still good for a trick play touchdown, but a trick play touchdown is only going to get you, depending on your league, 6-7 points with the reception. I see him maybe getting a little, maybe a 10-yard touchdown or something like that, but I don't see a big game out of Kelce. I would, at the most, I would see that. I wouldn't. I would sit him this week. Um, If you want a tight end to go with, I would say Kittle. That's a homer pick as well. But Evan Ingram is who I actually like if you want a tight end. All right. So those are my sits and my starts. I'm going to go through them real quick just in case you jumped on late. So my starts, CJ Stroud against the Colts, Evan Ingram against the Dolphins, Gibbs against the Rams. And then my sits, Jerome Ford against the Cowboys, Garrett Wilson against the 49ers, and Kelce against the Ravens. All right, now for what y'all really are really here for, these weekly picks. Travis Kelce is not our weekly picks. Weekly picks. Do I want to show it on the screen or not? Who we gonna use? Let's use Bleacher Report so y'all can see this, see the games at the same time as well. Let's see what we got. I'm in my own way. Let's go through this and see what we got. Let's go to the NFL. See, this ain't nothing like the app, but let's see. Let's go to news. Anyway, I want scores. Oh, come on with the nonsense. There it is. Scores. We're gonna go scores than NFL. Come on with the nonsense, brother. Brother, what is this, brother? Alright, there we go. Week 1. They showing those 4. I'm gonna try to go in. I'm gonna go in order. This is. I don't care about what they doing. I'm gonna go in order. We gonna have some order in this piece. You hear me? First one, they got the Ravens. You know what? I'm gonna make it. All right, we got the Ravens, and let me go bigger. I'm gonna go bigger. That might be a little too small for y'all. All right, there we go. That looks like that's better. That's a little bit bigger. All right. We got the Ravens and the Chiefs. Like I said, first game up. They're giving the Ravens 3, and I like it. I'm not going to get it more than other than I like it. I'm taking that 3. I think the Ravens are going to win. Chiefs are notorious slow starters, and the Ravens are not. Simple as that. Write these down. Ravens over the Chiefs. Next one, Friday Night Football in Brazil. Man, they gonna have me on crack this weekend. Friday night game. That's date night. Date night's on Saturday. My wife's watching date nights on Saturday. Sorry. Packers, Eagles. They are giving the Packers 2.5 points. When I did this, it was at 3 points. They done moved it now. I'm gonna show y'all because I had the Packers at the +3. Now that they moved it to 2.5, they moved it to 2.5. That's a little tougher. I'm gonna still go with the Packers. The reason being, I'm gonna write that down though, just so we can have accurate notes. No fake news around here, brother. No fake news around here, brother. We're gonna still go with the Packers because I think the Packers are gonna win outright. The Packers were hot end of last year, and the Eagles were cooling off a little bit. I think they still have a game or two to figure it out before they, turn it around. I'm not saying that. I think the Eagles are still going to be. Yes, sir. There's no game on Saturdays. It's 5, 6, 8. Yeah, there's no Saturday game, so smooches. So the Eagles are going to be. I think the Eagles might be. They're going to be a playoff team. It's still to be seen if they're going to be 2, 3, 4, 5 seed. Right now, I got a maybe 3 or 4 seed, potentially 5, depending on what the Cowboys do. So I gotta see the season. It's the first game. No, I'm not gonna think too much into these picks. I'm just going off of what I've seen in the preseason and what I think the future of what they're doing. So I like the Packers. Cards, Bills. See, when I did this, it was at 6, and I did this like a few hours ago. So these moved within hours. I like the Bills at 6. I like the Bills at 6.5 because they're probably going to beat them by a touchdown. The Cardinals are hot butter garbage. Their coach is hot butter garbage. Kyler Murray is hot butter garbage. Yeah, the Bills got worse, but it's the beginning of the year. People are going to put respect on Josh Allen's name because he's coming for that MVP. He ain't going to come for the Super Bowl because the AFC is too tough, but he wants that MVP. I know he does. I know he does. I see it in him. Mark my words, you heard that on episode 1. Josh Allen's coming for MVP. I'm not even a Bills fan or a Josh Allen apologist. I just think he's coming for the MVP. That's just something I think. That's all. Let me see. Yeah, I can stay in there so y'all can see my face reactions. All right. So we're going with the Bills on that, John. Then we got Dolphins, Jags, 3.5. They even moved that one. I'm gonna show you with that. It was at 3. So once again, I like the Dolphins. I think they're gonna murder them. But Geach, you said Evan Ingram is the start. Both things can be true. Okay? All right? Both things can be true. Just because somebody does well for fantasy does not mean their team is going to win. I think Evan Ingram is a start. I think he's going to do well against the Dolphins. I just don't think the Jags as a whole are going to. I think the Dolphins are going to blow these boys out the water. This is the healthiest they've been in a long time. South Beach Killers. Yeah, I like the Dolphins. with that 3.5. All right. Next, we got. Let me scroll down. Let me scroll down, brother. Let me scroll down. Ooh, but Next, we got the Saints and the Panthers. I'm not going to go back and forth with you ninjas about this game. It is a hot butter garbage game of the week contender. So we're just going to get you and show you that I am picking the Saints. I mean, there's no reason to otherwise. What have the Panthers done that warrant them winning a game? I mean, they're not even just winning a game this year. I don't even know. Them and the Patriots are battling for the first pick. And I don't even think the Panthers have the first pick. I think they gave away the next 27 first picks for Bryce Young. And I told y'all, remember I told y'all, now we back. I told you about CJ Stroud. I told y'all he was going to get Offensive Rookie of the Year. I told you he was the best quarterback in that draft. I told y'all Bryce Young is hot butter garbage. No, Bryce Young's going to be good, man. He's no. So we're going with the Saints until then. I still don't believe in, what's his name? Who's their quarterback again? That was in the Raiders. That's how bad you are. Carr. That's his name. Derek Carr. You're trash. They need to put in Spencer. I think they need to do a lot better. I think that ship has sailed with Carr. He had those 2 years under Gruden that were good. Other than that, he's been mediocre. All right, we're going to go with the Saints. Next up, we got the Patriots and the Bengals, 8.5. Joe Burrow is back and healthy. T. Higgins, Jamar Chase ain't practicing. So that might be a trappy Chan. But I still think the Bengals are going to blow them out the water. Joe Burrow, last time he was fully healthy, they went to the Super Bowl. They're just one of those weird teams like that. Patriots, they're starting Jacoby Brissett. It sounds like you should have that on a smoker for 3 to 5 hours. Hey, you want some Jacoby Brissett? Jacoby Brissett. Seriously? Jacoby Brissett? You might as well start an EJ Manuel. Like, your team is bad. You might as well just give Mason Burn, unless he's just that bad. Don't go with this old school traditional, oh, he needs to watch it. No, reps. Some QBs just need reps. And that's been shown. You just need reps. Because even though Jordan Love sat for 3 years, guess what? He still needed reps. He got better as the year went along. That's just the nature of the beast. You don't get better by watching football. I don't, because if you got better by watching football, half you out there would be good, right? You gotta play. You gotta play to win the game. So I'm going with the Patriots at +8 though. But the Bengals gonna win. They're gonna win. I think they're gonna win by like a touchdown. That +8.5 is crazy. That +8.5 is crazy. That was just too hard for me to. It's too hard. And it's mainly because of Jamar Chase. So that's what scares me. He ain't been playing. I mean, he ain't been practicing. Next up, we got the Steelers and the Falcones. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Sorry. Let me get back to it. Get back to it. I should have just stayed on Wi-Fi at that point. What the heck? All right, where was we at? Where were we so rudely interrupted? All right. I appreciate it, my guy. I put that name up there just in case y'all might see that name. If you're familiar with that name, y'all might see that name. Some things in the background. What they say on Martin? Saying in the background. We got some things in the background. So we got. It's crazy because on my screen it's good, but I don't know. This stream yard is being choppy. StreamYard is being crazy choppy because my other tabs are working good. This StreamYard is being crazy, and I'm not paying. Y'all think y'all gonna make me? Nah, I ain't paying. Nah, y'all got me minced. All right. Anyway, Steelers, Falcons at the 3.5. So I'm just gonna stand. I'm getting hot in here. Um, Steelers. I like the Steelers over the Falcons. The +3. Russell Wilson. I'm gonna put some respect on Russell Wilson's name. He don't turn the ball over. He's not the greatest thing since sliced bread, um, but he don't turn the ball over. And I love Mike Tomlinson as a Mike. Always, I think of Chris Tomlin, Tish Tomlin. Oh, it don't matter. Mike T. I love him as a coach. He's one of my favorite coaches in the league. Um, Atlanta still. I think Atlanta's going to be good, but I think they need um, a few games to get things in order. I don't think they're going to be bad. I still have them winning the division. I'll show you my division winners right next week. When I bring some people on. I'm gonna pick some division winners, go back and forth with you, so they can see how y'all feel about that. But I like the Steelers over the Falcons. I ain't gonna spend too much time on that game. Uh, Next up, I like the Texans over the Colts. Like I said, they beat them twice last year. CJ Stroud's healthy. I know Anthony Richardson's back, but the jury's out on him. I mean, who knows what he can do? He looked okay in the first couple games, but he got to stay healthy. But he was extremely inaccurate in camp, and some of the things that they were showing, like he was missing some things. I agree. I agree. Um, and they have two backs back there. They got Najee Harris and the other guy. I forget the other guy's name. And that helps Russell Wilson's game. Russell Wilson is big on play action and getting outside the pocket and things like that. And I think that works well with Munkin's style. I believe that's their OC's name, Todd Munkin, I think it is. Um, but yeah, I think that's a tougher game, but I'm gonna go with the Steelers with that one. I think Kenny Pickett was really the reason they weren't doing as well last year, and that's why they got rid of Pickett so quickly. Because his hands are so small. Like that doesn't matter, with other things, but in football, that size literally matters in football. Literally. Next up, we got. Let me move down a little bit. Ew, brother. Ew. This stream guard is crazy right now. Oh, it's driving me nuts. All right. Oh, the stream guard is crazy. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I think StreamYard actually prefers Wi-Fi. Like it started getting real choppy when I hardlined in. It does not like it. All right, so I just did the Texans call. So we Titans, Bears. Sorry. Caleb Williams comes out and gets his debut. I like Caleb Williams. He looks pretty good. He looks pretty solid. He's diet Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Mahomes light. You know what I mean? Patrick Mahomes-ish. You know what I mean? Um, he's all right. I think the added weapons help. I think the added offensive line helps. The Bears had a sneaky good defense last year. Sneaky good defense. DJ Moore, another year in the system. Caleb Williams improvises better than Justin Fields. I thought Justin Fields was going to be better. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought he was going to be better than what he is. I never thought he was going to be great, but I thought he was going to be better than what he is. He does not see the field at all. And he's slow through his progressions, super slow through his progressions. But Caleb Williams looks pretty good. And the Titans, I don't know what they're doing. They don't look good at all. They didn't finish the year that well. I have no faith in the Titans and what they're doing. However, earlier this line was at 4.5 with the Bears, and now it's at 4. I'm gonna show you because, like I said, I did this earlier. I like them at 4.5, but that scares me with the 4 now. Why did they move with the 4? Is there something I missed in 2 hours prior? However, I'm gonna stick with it because you don't scare me. They probably saw a lot of people picking it up and trying to move some people off it. But I'm going with the Bears against the Titans. I like the Bears. Next up, we got the Vikings and the Giants. Now, I know Sam Darnold is hot butter garbage, especially as a 49ers fan who watched him play. Sam seeing Ghost Darnold, the second coming of Mark Sanchez. I get it. However, they got Justin Jefferson back, and I think Addison might be probable, but I think he's still playing. Their offense is good. What did the Giants do? That they 1.5 against the Giants? I understand the Giants were. Did they beat them in the playoffs or something like that last year? Not last year, a couple years ago. But it's the Giants and Daniel Jones. They got worse. What did they do? Malik Neighbors? Is that what they're going off of? Malik Neighbors? You still have Daniel Jones as your quarterback. Y'all know that, right? I'm talking to you, Giants. Y'all know y'all have Daniel Jones as your quarterback? Did y'all watch Daniel Jones play football? And this is why I hate when people are like, oh, they leave it to the professionals. They played before. They know what people are good. Do they really? Just because you played football doesn't mean you know how to evaluate talent. And vice versa. Just because you're a Hall of Fame quarterback doesn't mean you can be a good coach. There's a reason Michael Jordan ain't out here coaching. I mean, it's like just because you played around people doesn't mean you know how to scout talent. It just means you knew how to play. That's all that means. It means you knew how to play. God gave you the ability to play a sport. Like I hate when people are like, oh man, he's a professional. He's a professional coach. That just means he knows the professional language. But yes, I agree with that. Their defense has always been pretty solid, and it might be better. And Sam Darnold does not do well against good pass rushers. I agree with that. But 1.5, that's basically a pick. Basically. I agree with those points. But 1.5 is basically a pick. And it's hard for me to pick the Giants in the beginning of the season. Now, this might be egg all over my face. But I'm putting more respect on Sam Darnold's name. Even though I just call him hot butter garbage bum, he has weapons. And I think Kellen Moore is going to put him in a position to do well. I believe in Kellen more than I do Daniel Jones. And I believe in Sam Darnold more than I do Daniel Jones. When the game is this close, I always go to the quarterbacks. Who's the better quarterback, in my opinion, and who's the better offensive coordinator? head coach, so on and so forth. I don't believe in nothing the Giants are doing at all. I really don't. Who are you? You ain't nobody. You got 8 followers. I got eyeballs. Some people have the gift of discernment, and some people have the gift to be able to evaluate. That's why there's good scouts and there's bad scouts. Some people don't know how to get their biases out the way. It's called implicit bias. It's hard to be objective. It really is hard to be objective. But Sam Darnold, I think, is a little bit better than Daniel Jones. I just don't see what the Giants are doing. I don't think you have to have a master's degree and have been in the NFL to be able to coach in the NFL. Coaching is coaching. Now, the difficulty is obviously different because you playing with people that are NFL players as opposed to, because I've coached up to high school age. Obviously, coaching high school and coaching college and coaching NFL are completely different. I get that. However, the aspect of coaching is the aspect of coaching. Here, where I would think even youth football might be a little bit harder, you got to do a lot more recruiting at the lower levels. High school, youth, college. You got to do a lot more recruiting. You got a lot more turnover. You got to get this material to people within a year, months, to get them to download this information, get them to buy into your program. With the NFL, you getting finished product. We giving you this product from the youth level. This is what we started this process. These people didn't know how to catch a football at the point. Best throw in Niners history. Steve Young Darnold. Kyle Shanahan, I can't stand. I don't know. We about to talk about this. I can't stand Kyle Shanahan. I can't. I'm not a fan. I'm not a Shanahan fan. I'm not a fan of Shanahan at all. He is a great offensive mind, great leader of men. Because the fact that he got coaches getting jobs all the time, you know what I mean? His offenses are do well, but genius is he? I'm giving that to Andy Reid, to be honest with you, because he's winning Super Bowls. Isn't that the rubric? Yeah, you got Patrick Mahomes. Is it? Yeah, but 11 other people passed over Patrick Mahomes, didn't they? Because they didn't scout him or they didn't think he was good enough, right? Mitchell Trubisky went number 2 overall. Let that sink in. Mitchell Trubisky. Daniel Jones got drafted where Daniel Jones got drafted. You know what I'm saying? So let's stop with the narrative that, just because they're in the NFL and they coach, they know what they're doing. No, it's a good old boys club. That's what it is. Shanahan is a Shanahan. He's coaching because he's a Shanahan. Look at his tree. Nepotism tree he got. The McVay line, nepotism. The what's the other ones that's the new coordinator now? The new brothers that are coordinators for the Texans and the Jets and all that. The LaFleur's. That nepotism tree. So that's all it is. There's nothing but nepotism in the NFL. Nepotism and good old boys club. Don't make it seem like it's the best of the best and things like that, because, yeah, we ain't going to go there. Because here's the thing. All of the people I wanted the 49ers to pick in the last 5, 6, 7 drafts, 85% of them are doing very well in the league right now. I wanted the 49ers to draft Creed Humphrey as a center. That year, I wanted the 49ers to draft Derwin Jones over, I think it was Eric Armstead. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. The year that they got Ayuk, They could have had Justin Jefferson and a tackle, I believe. They got Mike McGlinchey. McNuggets? Come on, bro. And now look at, come on. Yeah. And now they got Colton McKivitz holding down the right side of the line. And it's like, how do you not see this boy got all of our quarterbacks killed? McGlinchey and McKivitz. Like, I don't, what do, they got lucky with the people they got. This draft might have been the best draft they've ever had. Hats off to them on this draft. I don't know who was responsible for this draft. Ironically, it's the first draft that Adam Peters has not been a part of. So this is the strongest. I've never seen a 49ers draft this well in this Kyle regime. On purpose, I should say. I've never seen the draft this well on purpose for the 49ers regime. Mustafa, Bernardo, man, they got some puny, punny. Man, they got some dogs on this team that they picked up. And they were ones I wanted them to get. However, the Ricky Pearsall one. Now, it's hard to just dump on this dude. Now, he just got shot. This dude, like, literally took the gun from a robber, shot the dude. Like, this dude on some John Wick-ish out here, right? So it's hard to be picking on him. However, I still wouldn't have picked him, unfortunately. I would have picked that tackle. What was his name? Kingsley? I probably would have picked Kingsley. And you still probably would have got Puny. Kingsley and Puny on the right? Are you shitting me? That was feasible. Not only that, you could have had a solid center from last year. Y'all picked Cameron Letu, who y'all let go. Right? A developmental piece in the third round. Y'all picked up Jake Moody in the third round as a kicker. The kickers could be... they got all these kickers on YouTube and like TikTok that be making 90-yard field goals. That y'all don't want none of that. Y'all want none of that smoke, right? He agrees that was a great draft. But however, yeah, I'm not spending no third round. It's just like fantasy. A third round on the kicker for what? Why would you do that? That's just dumb. All the kickers that got picked. Jake Moody, last year, Jake Moody's the only one that's still on the roster. And he really shouldn't be. I mean, he was great until he wasn't. He chokes under pressure. That's when you need a kicker. You don't need a kicker when it's you up 96 points and it's a 46-yard chip shot. You need your kicker when you're dead. Jake Moody arguably might be the reason we don't have a Super Bowl. It went into overtime, right? Let's talk about it. Podcast voice. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I went off a tangent. Daniel, you see what Daniel Jones did? You know what that brings me to? Weekly segment. I forgot. Yeah. Y'all got me out here on my bag. Hold on. You know what scuffs my Timbs? You know what really scuffs my Timbs? Is how Kyle Shanahan will not invest in that offensive line. Protect your investments. Why are you not protecting your investment? Jimmy Garoppolo got killed. Trey Lance got killed. Brock Purdy got killed the first time. Brock Purdy got killed. He almost got killed in the Super Bowl. He should have died a few times throughout the season. If Brock Purdy was Jimmy G, we would have been 9-8. Or if Brock Purdy was Justin Fields or something like that. Good thing Brock was an escape artist because Kyle Shanahan does not invest in offensive line. And that really scuffs my Timbs. really scuffs my Timbs. Protect your investment. You see what the Chiefs just did with Creed Humphrey? Lock that man up. He is protecting his investment. Eagles had the best offensive line ever. That offensive line took them to the Super Bowl. However, you still got to be a good team. That offensive line is getting them games. You still got to be a good team. However, protect your investment. And that's what really stuffed my time. Sorry. Back to these picks. Next up, we got the Broncos and the Seahawks. Now, the Broncos might have been one of the worst teams in the league last year. Hot butter garbage. Sean Payton, outside of Drew Brees, tell me what he's done. I don't want to sound like one of those content creators that just bags and rags on people, right? But what has Sean Payton, I said this last year, what has Sean Payton done outside of Drew Brees? Now, Bo Nix, people forget, Bo Nix was a top recruit in the country at one point. Not top as in like number one. I meant top like top 5 in the country at one point. Bo Nix was supposed to be one of those guys, then he just kind of fell off by the wayside. So Bo Nix has the talent and the ability. He could be, but it's still the Denver Broncos. But then again, it's the Seahawks, and I'm a 49ers fan, and it's hard for me. This one was tough. I ain't gonna hold you. This one was a tough one. However, I like Bo Nix. I think the Seahawks are going to win. So if you want to do a win, pick them, because I'm going to do that as well. I might come back on tomorrow night just to show y'all my wins as well, or I might just put a post up so y'all can see my actual wins. But if y'all want the replay on the actual points, y'all got to play this back. But Tampa would play this bite. But I think the Seahawks are going to win, but I like the Broncos with points. We're talking about points right here. We're talking specifically points. That's what we're talking about. All right. Next up, we got the Chargers and the Raiders. We got, 5 more games to go through. Come on. We're almost there. I know. Come on. Take a little water break. All right. There you go. Sip. All right. Y'all can do it. I believe in y'all. Chargers and the Raiders. Jim Harbaugh. Talking about good coaches. Good coach. I think Jim Harbaugh is a good coach. Did I freeze on y'all? Hopefully not. Jim Harbaugh is a really good coach. I trust in the Jim Harbaugh process. I think he's going to do well for the Chargers. He has a real quarterback. This might be the best quarterback Jim Harbaugh's ever had. People need to put some respect on Justin Herbert's name as well. Justin Herbert does not get the respect that Justin Herbert deserves. Justin Herbert is a good quarterback. However, he had bad coaches and bad play calling around him. I don't think Greg Roman is going to, it's going to be a run heavy, offense, really balanced. However, that's going to bode well for Justin Herbert because then he doesn't have to be Josh Allen Superman. He can, work off the play action pass and things like that. So I think they're going to be a pretty good team. I think they're going to put the AFC West on notice. I don't think they're going to beat the Chiefs or win a division by any means, but I think they could be a 9-10 win team. And the Raiders didn't do much to move the needle, so I'm gonna stick with that 3 and keep the Chargers. Stick with that 3 and keep the Chargers. All right, next up, let's move this down, move it down for the last section. This last section right here, boy, these games right here, this section right here, I'm excited for this section right here. y'all know why mainly, but I'm rocking with these last few games down at the bottom. These last few Jones. These ones right here. Mm-hmm. Juicy. This is gonna be alright. These right here. Magnifique. We got Commanders against the Bucks. We got Jayden Daniels making his debut. I think he's going to be a solid individual. I think he might be what people thought Anthony Richardson was going to be, because I think he's a little bit more accurate than he is. And I like what the Commanders are doing. I like what they're doing. I think Eric Bieniemy's still the offensive coordinator, right? No. Wait a minute. I'm tripping. I forget who the Commanders got down there. I'm tripping. But anyway, Jayden Daniels is going to be solid. I forgot who somebody put in the chat who the damn Commanders coach is. Yeah, I'm drawing the craziest blank. Dan Quinn going to have a good defense. He's going to have a solid defense. Yeah, I forgot it was Dan Quinn. Forgot it was Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah, he's all right. He's better as a coordinator than as a head coach, so I give him that. They're going to spread that ball out, you know what I mean, and probably utilize his feet like they did with Kyler Murray in Arizona. But I think Daniels is better than Kyler Murray, actually. So I'm going with – sorry, Chris. Oh, no, you ain't a 49ers fan, but you ain't a Bucs fan. You're in Tampa, but you ain't a Bucs fan. Yeah, sorry, everybody else that's down here in Tampa. Yeah, Baker Mayfield's not good to me. He's Baker Mayfield, and that team's getting older. I don't think they did too much to move the needle for myself. I think the Commanders are going to get that one. Next up, we got the Cowboys and the Browns. I'm not sure why I'm not sure why the Browns are favored. I understand that Browns did very well when Deshaun Watson was healthy and things like that. I think that was more of a fluke than actually they are good. This is the second year of Jim Schwartz's defense. His first year of his defenses always work. If you ever see everywhere he's been, his defenses gets progressively worse each year. He'll be fired by the third year if he doesn't get a head coaching gig because he did okay this year, and they're just going to look at his last year and this year's, right? I think they're going to fall off. And Cowboys defense was pretty solid. Cowboys is pretty much the same team. I think they're just going to outright win. I don't understand how they got the Cowboys winning, losing this early in the season, and specifically to the Browns. I'm going for the Cowboys on this one. It's hard for me to pick the Cowboys, but I'm going for the Cowboys. I don't know about y'all. I don't know about you, but I'm going for the Cowboys. Next up, we got the Lions and the Rams. The Rams. I like what the Lions were doing last year. I think some of that was mojo, and people weren't ready for them, right? They were kind of hitting people in the mouth and taking people by surprise. Campbell is a good coach until he's not. I think his coaching is the reason they're not in the Super Bowl, to be honest with you. Because they probably should have beat that 49ers team. He outcoached himself at the end by being too risky. He outcoached himself, unfortunately. I still think they're pretty good. I still think they might be the fourth best team in the NFC, fourth best team in the NFC. The Rams offense might be okay and better. Their defense got worse, especially in the middle of the defense. Tenured linebacker and Aaron Donald's gone. That middle, they're going The Lions are going to exploit that middle pause. I like the Lions. I like the Lions in that 3.5, actually. And last but not least, of course, last but not least, Trent Williams signed, so that line moved a little bit. It was at 4, but then big back Trent is back, so they moved that thing to 4.5. I'm not even gonna waste time with it. Of course, it's bang bang Niners gang. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? I'm gonna switch it just because it is at 4.5. But I like them. Aaron Rodgers fears the 49ers in that defense. Oh, wrong one. Sorry. Aaron Rodgers fears the 49ers in that defense. He can't stand group pass rushers. And PTSD with Leonard Floyd coming at him. Leonard Floyd is the reason Aaron Rodgers was out. Exactly. He doesn't like people around him. He doesn't like to be touched. He doesn't like pressure. He doesn't like to be hit at all. He's going to be flustered early. That's why I told y'all to sit Garrett Wilson earlier. And that's why I like the 49ers at 4.5, because this is that quest for 6. And with all that adversity going on in the offseason and people knowing how close it can really be and how much they were minutes again away from the Super Bowl. But this time, as opposed to 2019, they locked up their core and gotten better, because the draft after that draft was horrible after that 2019 season. And then the team wasn't right, and Trey Lance situations and all that. It just wasn't good. But yeah, those are the picks. Tell me what y'all think about those, which ones you like, which ones you disagree on. I'm going to go all the way through the starts and the sits real quick and the wins, just in case you were late. Let's jump into it real quick. All right? So the starts. First one, we got CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud going up against. We got CJ Stroud going up against those Colts. I like CJ Stroud. I like Evan Ingram against the Dolphins, specifically Ingram, not necessarily the Jaguars or the Trevor. So we rocking with Evan Ingram for the tight end. And then I like Gibbs just because I think he's going to be nice, and I think they're going to do well against the Rams, specifically linebacker and up the middle. All right, but sitting, this is who I want y'all to sit. I want y'all to sit Jerome Ford because of the Cowboys, and he's a Brown early in the season. Sit Garrett Wilson because Aaron Rodgers is going to be nervous, and this might be the best defensive back team that we had, and we don't really give up a lot of passing yards per game statistically. And then sit Travis Kelce's ass down because I think John Harbaugh is a good coach, and he's going to make him. They're going to make him work for it. I think they're going to make him throw it to the wide receivers. Expect a big game from Worthy. And then weekly picks: Ravens, Chiefs. I like the Ravens. Packers, Eagles, like the Packers. Bills against Cards, I like the Bills. Dolphins against the Trevors, I like Dolphins. Aints against the Nanthers, I like the Aints. I like the Patriots at that plus 8.5, but I do like the Bengals to win. It's Joe Burrow's first game back, so I'm not expecting them to go crazy, but they will go crazy for a year. I like the Steelers against ATL Shouty. I like CJ Stroud over Anthony Richardson in that duel. I like Caleb Williams over Levi Jeans. I like Sam the Darnold over Daniel the Jones. Bo Nix over Didn't Write Back. Jim Harbaugh over Anthony Pierce. Jaden over Barker. What's his name? Baker. Jaden over Baker. I like the Cowboys plus 2.5. Dak sit. And I like the Rams over I like the Lions over the Rams. And last but not least, bang, bang, Niners gang. Always and forever. And until then, it is your boy, Gabe Smith. I'll let you next time.